got the crab correct. It's all going to be you unless things get out of control.
All right.
Remember, hands and feet together. Feet for steering, hands and feet for positioning where we need to be to stay behind the tow plane. When you're ready, left thumb up. Good. Do a final look for traffic. Looks good. Okay, he was waggling at you. There you go. We see the wind direction pretty much coming right down the field right now, but we're going to get slammed when we get by the trees. I can see the trees at the end are rocking and rolling.
Right.
So stick with it. Your feet may come off the pedals. Pedal and stick it. That wing up. There you go. Good. Good. Stay as close to the ground as you can without retouching. A little lower, Cameron. Lower. You want to be a foot off the ground, not 10. There we go, good. Now you can follow them up, hands and feet, correcting the same position, thinking about the emergencies.
Right.
Stay with them.
Alright, that's about 200.
200, okay, with the way the wind's coming, I would actually let us drift a little bit off to the left corner, and then make a turn back into the right.
Right, like a teardrop?
Yeah. Now we've got enough altitude where we could actually do like a left turn and do our mini base leg, the final. Good. Left side of the tow plane, hold the rudder in, wings up, don't overcompensate, just enough. There, good. Now that you're doing tow so good, also look to the left and right a little bit here while we're on tow in perfect position, because we are into where the downwind leg is for power traffic for runway 7. Anywhere up your right wingtip, doesn't hurt to take a look. Good, take a look, good. The object is to stay in perfect tow position and being able to look around. Remember initially I had you just follow the tow plane and focus on that? Now you want to kind of keep that in your peripheral vision while you're looking out for more traffic, so to say. Good.
It's pretty bumpy today.
Yeah. And if we get some slack in our rope, just yaw away from it. So if we got a big loop down to the lower right, you're going to stop on the left pedal a little bit and yaw the nose away from it. This way we get that slack out sooner, and when we get that shock of that rope getting tense, it's going to be less.
Yeah.
If you dive towards it and make it bigger, he's going to accelerate more, and when it does get caught, you're going to get slingshot. That's not good for the aircraft, not good for everything. My ears. How about you? Now as I get here, I look down at the reservoir and kind of see the way the winds are coming across it. You see that?
Yeah.
So that gives me that direction of what the winds are doing at 1,000 feet over our airport. This reservoir is 1,000 feet higher than what our field elevation is. And that's a nice open area, that whole lake on top. So that's pretty darn accurate, okay? If you get the reservoir of your lower right wingtip, that's in the lee of the ridge. That gets a lot of backwash and swirling, a little bit different. Now there's at least another glider up here somewhere, I don't know where. He could be in thermals, he might be doing a little bit of ridge. Might be doing a little combination of both. Check out the river.
Wow. It's like brown.
Yeah. Stay with him. Yep, stay with them.
Alright, we're a little past.
Alright, yeah, we're about ready to release, so why don't you look around and just do about a 20-degree turn to the right today.
Okay.
Good. Pop off, it's all clear, a little bit to the right, and just kind of go towards the river a little bit now. Level out, please. Level out. He's gone.
All right, I'm gonna throw in some trim.
Yep. Wow, that's some good up here. Now, if you look at the cloud drift, you see the cloud shadows on the ground and the river? Look at the river down here in your lower left.
Okay.
See where the clouds are going?
Yeah.
Straight across the river. That's almost parallel with the mountain.
Mhm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little left turn here, about a 45-degree turn. Now, we're high for ridge lift. But what we're going to do is we're going to run along the face of this mountain here. So look to the left. Give me about a 45-degree angle. Turn. Good. Now level out. And we're going to do what's going to call crabbing. So I want you to just kind of follow me for a second. Again, we're a little bit higher. Just mimic me. You're going to see our nose is pointed out towards those buildings in Stroudsburg. But our ground track, Cameron, we're staying here. You see where the mountain range is? Okay, we want to stay on the upwind side of this mountain range because the wind's coming from your right to our left. So we want to, and guess which way we're going to turn when we make turns to go back the other way? Do you think we'll turn to the mountain or away from the mountain?
Back.
No, we're going to turn into the wind now.
So a right turn back?
So a right turn. And if we were going the other way, we'll do a left turn.
Okay.
We're actually hitting some good lift here. So what we're going to do is hold about 50 miles an hour. We're in good left. We can slow up a little maybe if you want, but we're going to be hitting sync probably shortly. Good. Make sure we don't drift past the center line of where this crest is, okay? A little more crab to the right. We're starting to drift over. Good. But a little more of a turn. There we go. Wow.
Yeah, pretty good lift today.
Yeah. Now this is Sunfish Pond. Now I've already been up doing a little bit of flying and it's been pretty consistent conditions. But my initial sampling of this ridge area is from this pond to the upper reservoir. And I make it work out so that if I'm in trouble, got to keep those wings low, keep that crab angle. We got to be very attentive to that. I make it work out, Cameron, so that when I go from here and if I get back to the reservoir, if I'm down below like, or right around 2,400 feet and I don't like the situation, I can bail off the ridge and go back to the airport safely.
Right.
Okay, so now we're starting to run in a little bit under the air, but we can go a little further, no biggie. We'll run it down to about maybe 32 or 31. Now the wind's coming a little bit more out of the west, a little bit more off our nose. Not much, but just a little bit. What that means is this ridge here and this mountain's going to work pretty far down. Meaning that as we get further down, it's going to keep working. If the wind was more from your right shoulder, that air is going to be just like the river. It's going to spill around and it's not going to bounce off the mountain as good. Okay? But what that means is on the other side, it's going to work earlier if it's a north wind. Versus a west wind, this mountain's going to work good to the river. That mountain isn't going to work good at the beginning because the west wind's going to spill through the gap. All right, let's look to the right and go back up. Look, nice crisp turn. Stick, pedal, push, push. Nope, make that turn. Leave that stick in. We got to have these turns happen very quick.
Okay.
Good. Now take the turn out and put your crab back in. Again, our nose is going to be pointed up towards the river, but can you see the mountain range here? We got to stay on the upwind side of that mountain range. Part of that might have been us slowing up a little bit because we went from 50 to like 40.
Yeah, stick thermal.
Yeah, I mean it could be a combination, but we'll go back up here. We're going to stay right along this ridge here.
Oh, actually, pretty good air.
Okay. Well, there's lots of thermals around, but we don't need to really get any higher for right now. I just want to kind of give you a little bit about what's going on the ridge. So here's our upper reservoir off your right side, the upper one. That's our big windsock. The little pond below is very obscured. Sunfish Pond is very obscured by the trees, so you can't count on that as reliably as you can by. We're very blessed to have this upper reservoir.
Right, so since it's coming back towards us, is that indicating landing on 7? Since like that would give us the headwind?
What? Remember the cloud drift we saw is going almost straight across the mountain? All right, as you get down lower to the ground, there's typically a twisting to the wind due to the friction of the terrain. And that means, I mean, it can mean lots of things, but what it typically means is, let's say the wind's a little more northerly here, it'll be a little more northwesterly on the ground. If it's more northwest, it'll be maybe more westerly on the ground. Again, there's a lot of other little influences that can affect it.
Right.
Now we're going to keep going up along here. This is our upper reservoir where when we get ready to bail off, we are going to leave. so that you know if we get in trouble, there's a field on the left side of the river there. You see that big field?
Yeah.
Okay? The only situation is normally there's a big old crop in that field. And you can only land on the very green. You see the very green side next to the trees on the far side, not the river.
On the far left?
On the far left, yeah. There's actually some cars in the parking lot there you can see a little bit of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we land, on that little green strip. It's not that big, it's only like, but the approaches to it are pretty open.
Right.
Now, if there's no crops in there, we can pretty much use any part of that field, but you gotta, you know, realize we are getting into farming season. They'll probably be doing some winter corn or something.
Gonna pick up the speeds.
Yes, good, you're reading my mind. Go down a whole bunch more. Got to fly with a bald eagle already today. Now you see the mountain's going to take a little curve to the right.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of stay in that leading edge where that curve to the right is. And then where that curve to the right ends, you can see there's the mountain. There's like a little ravine there to the end on the right side. There's actually another ridge to the left of that pond. We never go up past where that ravine is. Okay? Unless we jump upwind to the other ridge, which we're going to work on this main ridge today before we do ridge jumping.
Okay.
We're going to keep going. We got plenty of height. Even if I bail back from here at this height, I can easily get back to the airport. 2,400 feet over that upper reservoir, at this end of the upper reservoir is where we try to typically leave. That's going to give you the guaranteed getting back home. Good. Keep your crab, keep that yarn straight. Good. Now the ridge is going to crook a little bit to the right, so we're going to have to kind of maybe take out a little of the crab to let ourselves, well, yeah, a little bit of right pedal. Let the nose drift a little bit, let us kind of drift. We got to follow the contour of the mountain range. Again, there's our emergency field. Do you think we can reach that field on the other side of the airport from here? I mean, it's about what we're doing on downwind, except a little wider.
Yeah.
At our regular airport, and even though it's going to be into a wind. Okay, now I want you to follow me with this technique. This is called S-turning. We're starting to hit lift. Now I'm going to be turning to the left, so I look left first, and when I really get, and I make sure it's clear, when I really get that good strong surge of lift, we make a turn into the wind. Okay, here we go, nice crisp. Back to the center. And when I come back this way, before my nose passes over the crest line, I look back to the right. Nobody there. I stuff that stick and pedal right to the right. See my airspeed? Oh, I got a little slow. 45 is probably a good airspeed. Notice we're not turning our back on that ridge. We're keeping it, and we're staying on this side of the ridge, Cameron. This is a very important skill to get down, because you cannot fly ridge, particularly here, without being able to do this. Now we're going to run into that lift again, I think. Here we go. Look to the left. Why don't you try it? Stick, pedal, push, push. Back to the center. Back pressure, cross control. We want to do a nice tight circle. Steep. Good airspeed. 45. Good. Keep going. Keep that turn in. Nice and coordinated. Mimic me for a minute, please. Alright, we come back around. What we'll do is we're going to go down the ridge here, maybe get a little lower, and then try to pick up another thermal over a little closer to the upper reservoir. There's a power line cut. You see that hump?
Yeah.
There's a lot of times there's a thermal right there. Where the ravines are, where the crevices in the mountain, they can always harbor thermals. Okay? So again, we hit a little bit of sink, not bad. Oh, feels like it's starting to kick in. Feel that?
Yeah.
Give it a second. You want to make sure it's something good. Maybe it's just a little gust. You'll know when it's good. You'll hear the wings. They'll talk to you. 0. I'll take 0. 0 is good. We're driving along at 50 miles an hour. We're not really getting any below than 2,800. Again, I want you to just follow me till we get into this next batch of thermals. You can see our model airplane field down there. You can get a good look off the right side. See where the cars are parked? Straight in front of the cars, there's actually a couple little stands there, so you want to kind of be right in the center of that grass area when you do decide that, hey, I got to touch down. So that's why I'm so hard on you about being good at doing a spot landing at the airport. Because when you have to do a spot landing on an off-field, you need to be able to nail it, and nail it with good energy management, good confidence. All right, here we go, coming along. We should get, you feel a little turbulence, a little life in the air. And then we're going to do a little bit of these, couple of... I do notice the wind's got a little lighter. I used to see a lot of white caps on my last flight. This flight I don't see as many, so that tells me the wind got a little lighter. So I'll go between like Sunfish by these ravines here. Speed up a little bit. There's some down there. Now we should run into something here hopefully soon. I don't know, we had some stuff, we had some luck this time. Sometimes you make a pass, there's not a lot. Next time there's a whole bunch. So you gotta have the faith that the bridge is working, that you're paying mind to what the wind is doing. See any birds? I've landed in this other field over here to the right, in the middle over there once too. Okay, now we're starting to get in the top of the ridge lip. We're also going to probably get some thermals here. So I'm going to begin to slow up. Just mimic me, because we are getting a little lower. Right now we're at almost the point where we can't get back to the airport.
Yeah, 24.
There we go. So just mimic me. I'm going to look to the right. Clear, stuff that stick right in. I pull back a little bit hard, about 45 is a good speed. Now when I come back around, now I could go a full 360, but I don't want to. I see where that thermal is. I might not have gone down far enough. Let me work my way back up this way. From here I could get back to the airport, about 24 and change. Work my way back here. Notice where I'm staying, relatively close to my landing field. Again, we could be down lower in the ridge lip, but my purpose of this is to try to get you to feel, oh, here we are, we're going to be lower. You can't freak out. Hey, right now, Cameron, we're not making it back, we're landing in this other field over here. You start getting down to 2,000 feet, 1,800 feet, and don't hit anything, you better be pretty close to those fields to be able to reach them. And right now you can't even really see the airport. But we can see our emergency fields off the end of the airport. Oh, there's a little bit of sink, so I'm going to speed up. But that's kind of a good sign in a way, because typically there's going to be some wind right afterwards. Just mimic me, okay? Because we are getting lower. Try to make my turns in lift. There we go. It's got a little friendlier feel. Those little surges. So I'm going to do is I'm going to make a nice... Just mimic me, please, till I get some height. And help me clear for traffic, because there are other gliders up here. I'm going to go back to the right. Let's give them clear. Before the nose passes over, and before you, again, 45 is probably a good speed. I got a little slow. You see how long it takes for that turn to happen? That's not so good, because then you waste time getting back into that thermal. And if it's a passing bubble, you got to really grab hold of it. I think it's back over this way. It's small.
Yeah.
All right, so this way you got to really be. There we go. Feels like it's kicking in a little bit more. Now you're with me. We're over 500 feet. I'm going to really steepen up. try to make this turn stay up over the center of the ridge. I can't go back past the center line. I thought I was going to grab hold of it. Alright, just stick with me. Right now we've got a long commute to get home. I'm going to give it a little bit of gas here. Bring it down a little bit lower. Not that I want to, but I got to get through that bad air. Pretty steep, pretty aggressive, back to the left.
So right from the rollout into the next turn?
Pretty much let the nose drift over. We don't want to go over the crest of the ridge. As the nose gets pointed to the ridge, look back to the right. Stuff that stick to the right. I don't mean to be forceful with it, but you got to whip this thing around. Oh, I got a little slow. It's the edge of the thermal. And you got to do it in a position where you're staying in the lift. Where'd you go? I might have missed it. Oh, I do see a bird down lower below us, over the trees. Down pretty low, that's a good sign. Got a little slow there. You got to have, some controllability to make sure that you're able to get that aircraft to respond to you.
Oh, he's right there.
Yep, Bald Eagle. Keep your eye on him because he's going to be using the sweet stuff. Now there's the sink. I thought we were going to have it there. Alright, we'll move up along the line. Keeping my yarn as straight as I possibly can. Normally by these power lines, like I said, in these little ravines, there'll be a little thermal. Now a little lower, here we go. Let's see how we make out. Right here by this little ravine, we get a little bit. There we go. Getting a little bit. Keeping that airspeed up. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're at 2,200 feet, but we're in good air. I want to make sure we get back. You know where our airport is?
Right in front of us.
Good, alright. If we're in good air like we are here, keep the airspeed 50. If we start hitting sync, I want you to speed up. Wings level, yarn straight. We're going to start hitting sync here in a second or two. So you're going to have to put the call to it. What's going to happen? We had up current on that side of the ridge. What's going to be on this side of the ridge?
Down current.
Yeah, get a little more airspeed. We got to get to, right now, I don't know whether we're going to get there. But those fields straight ahead, those are my emergency fields. A little more call to it, Cameron. Let's go. We're in 500-600 down. We got to get there. Good. Keep that airspeed, 55, 60. We're at 1,500 feet. We still got almost 3 miles to go. And we're in 500 down. A little more speed, buddy. Keep your eyes looking for anybody that might be in the pattern for downwind from the power. A little bit of rotor. Good. You can slow up just a second or two. Good. Okay, now the bottom's going to fall out. Get ready to speed back up. There's the bottom falling out. Do not try to thermal in those. Okay? You will put yourself in the reservoir in harm's way. Now, right now, I'm thinking we need a little more speed. You're slowing up. We got to get that stick down. We got to get there, buddy. All right, look at that meter, 600-700 down. If we go 55 miles an hour, we're never going to make it. Now, at this point, we got to be thinking about our landing checklist. Unless we get some kind of miracle, we're here at 1,000 feet over the field. Undercarriage, spoilers, just give them a quick shot. Don't waste too much time with them. Good, okay, trim.
Airspeed.
Good. We get a little burble here, I may try it, but we're at a very, you know, with the wind and the conditions today, we got to be safe. Look at our altimeter, we're only 900 feet. What we got going on here? A little bit of zero. Good, yeah, you're good. You can slow just a little bit. Not too much, not below 50. So we're about 800. We're at our IP height, but we're kind of like on a crazy spot for Base Lake.
Yeah.
So what we got to do is we got to try to make something work out. Unless we get something here in the next second or two. So we're going to do what's called a modified pattern. We're going to just do like a 180 to the left, and then we're going to be on our base leg. So, undercarriage, spoilers, trim, airspeed. Get your hand on that spoiler. Let's do a 180 to the left. Make it happen. Good. 55 to 60. Make that turn happen. We got a helicopter down there. We don't know what he's doing. Now we want to be on our base leg, and this is how we would be normally. Good airspeed with this hand, 60. If you want to come down, how are you going to get the glider down? How are you going to get the glider down?
Spoilers.
And you got to get your airspeed at 60, not 50. 60. Yes, spoilers. Good. Pull out some spoilers. Good. Look for traffic. Good. And maybe a little more spoiler and finish your turn for final. 60, not 65, not 70, 60. Good. And just like we were crab correcting, you got to crab correct here too. A little more spoiler. There you go. Good. Keep that airspeed. Not 50, Cameron. 60. Get that stick down. More spoiler if you want to come down. Good. And we can leave that crab correction in. Kind of hug the power runway if you want a little bit. But not on the runway. Hug it. And you got to watch those runway lights there. 60. 60. Get this hand locked on at 60. Whoa. You feel that bottom fall? Let's relax the spoilers. Hold it off. Hold it. It's going to want to slam. Okay. Wings level, slowly back with the stick, slowly, back. Now I want you to kind of follow me a little bit. Good, I tried to lift the tail, you know, lift the nose off with the tail by using the elevator. Good, a little bit of a workout there.
Yeah, that was a pretty chaotic landing.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got down there about 2,000 MSL. Started getting pretty ugly looking, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But not a big deal. I didn't panic. We stayed within the range of reaching those two fields.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've used that other field, so I feel comfortable there. And I stayed between where the mountain lake was there, Sunfish Pond, and where that offset was, going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And made it work out. All right. If we didn't hit any lift, guess what? I'd be having to go and land off field and make a phone call and get a trailer and everything else. Good job. So a little bit of workout. I didn't mean to hog it from you there, Dan, but it gives you a little bit of time to examine what's going on with the whole prospectus on things.